YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. I am Artsume Shae, if you didn't know already. And hello, it is time to lock in. Honestly, yeah, it's been a minute. You know, obviously I'd come back from MomoCon, and you know, took some time to, of course, decompress from that whole thing. So yeah, I am back now, and I'm ready to get started on some projects. Of course, that one project being the main one, and what all of this is about, and that is making my webcomic. So if you're new here, which honestly there are a lot of people who are new to the channel, to me, to what I'm all about. Hi, I am Artsume Shae. I'm a digital artist, and I also am a webcomic creator, and I am the webcomic creator of my story Space Ultima, which is a sci-fi, adventure, romance, action, fun, and it is something that I really enjoy making and working on, no matter the frustrations or no matter the, you know, craziness and whatnot. Which, by the way, if you have not read any of Space Ultima and you're interested in doing so, of course, the webcomic is always free, and that is free on my website. So I don't think did I do a video on it? I might have, but regardless, I do have a website now, and it is artsumeshae.com. So yes, artsumeshae.com. That is where I have put my entire webcomic for free. I of course also have it on Namikami, WEBTOON Canvas, Global Comics, yeah, all the fun spots. But yeah, ultimately, I'm working on episode 6 of season 2. So if you want to be all caught up, boom, you have the opportunity to. But yeah, I of course have some work to do, so I figured what better way to do that than to have like a nice little yappy meal, a nice little chit chat. That way I can kind of update everybody on what I have been up to, some things that have been on my mind, and do that all while I'm here to do my work. But yeah, of course, if you are, you know, hanging out, maybe you are also working on your webcomic, you're working on your drawing, this is a great thing to have, to hang out, and we just kind of chillax. So if that is all the interesting things to you, then please do like this video, and then of course subscribe. That way you can get more notifications on upcoming things, upcoming videos. I also use the community tab a lot to post some things that happen off YouTube. Of course, there is a lot that happens off YouTube, so if you are interested in those types of things, then definitely follow me on Instagram. That's probably the area I hang out the most. So Instagram is at Artsume Shae. Pretty much Artsume Shae across the board. But yeah. Okay, coffee is sipped. So yeah, this is kind of like my typical, you know, typical setup. I just, of course, love to have typically a YouTube video on while I'm working on some of these things. Yeah, so a lot of stuff had occurred since MomoCon. Of course, MomoCon was just so much fun. It was honestly the funnest, one of the funnest years, in my opinion. It was definitely the biggest year. And for me, I think that MomoCon, with it continuing to grow and evolve, really does make it one of those cons that I enjoy going to, especially if it's like the only con that I end up going to all year round. However, there are, of course, you know, other conventions that happen in my kind of, you know, local state and whatnot, especially cons that are considered, I guess you could say, they're considered kind of local, I guess you could say, which there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I feel like those are the conventions I really partake in the most, at least from like a tabling and participation point of view. So I do really enjoy going to those as well. I make an effort to always do some of the areas in our local area. But I mean, I think that it's so funny. I feel like I've been really, oh, there it is. Okay. I'm like looking for a specific asset and I'm like, I can't find it. But I think that one of the great things about going to local cons, and cons in general, is just being able to connect with people personally, having that kind of face-to-face. I think it's funny, a lot of people, throughout our lives, your parents are always telling you, like, go to that place and shake their hand and look them in the eyes and stuff. And yes, I guess it's kind of become a bit of a meme, but there is a lot of truth to that. I really do believe it. So yeah, I was able to connect with a lot of people, have some discussions with them, and of course go to some panels that of course I really enjoyed. So I had a lot of fun. Man, but yeah, it is so much bigger of a convention nowadays than it was. Well, I mean, I say this as someone who's only been going to like MomoCon or cons in general for like the past, oh gosh, I don't know, like 7 years. Yeah, that's been a lot. Who's this old lady over here talking to me? But no, I think that I have been going for, I would say, the more contemporary years. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun with it. It's just one of those things where you really do get to live in your fun, live in your nerdiness. But yeah, after MomoCon, came home, decompressed, and that was very, very important to do. We saw a few things in theaters, and let me just tell you guys, cinema is so back, baby. Cinema is back. I love those memes that's like me and my friends single-handedly saving movie theater, the movie industry, and honestly, that's really what it feels like. Like I have some former coworkers and friends. We will go to at least like once a month. We call it our like monthly movie club, and we'll see a movie like once a month during like the discount ticket nights. Usually that's like a Tuesday or whatever, depending on wherever your local theater is. But yeah, like we'll go and we'll basically we'll just watch the movies, and I love that. And now it's kind of like stemmed over into like me and my husband, because I've been going to movies so much, and so there have been movies that he's really been wanting to see, and I was just like, okay, this is my thing. This is my thing. But no, I'm just kidding. I do really enjoy seeing movies with anybody in general. I like going to the movies. So of course, a lot of people have been talking about these, and I like, in my brain, I kind of called them the big three, especially as far as the summer movie time has been considered. The big three being Amazing Digital Circus, Backrooms, and Obsession, and those being like the three movies that have been taking over box office numbers despite them being, YouTube created, or not YouTube created, but like stemming from like YouTube creators in general, which I think is really cool. Of course, I've been watching Digital Circus since like it first came out, back when it aired on YouTube like so long ago. Gosh, how long has it been? I want to say it's like 3 years ago. It's been a while. Granted, it's an independently ran animation studio that specializes specifically in 3D animation, so of course it's gonna be, they're gonna take their time. They're not under the same pressures as, some of these other areas. But that being said, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that it came to, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, of course, because I'm pretty sure have like announced that this is like the wrap up of the story. Like it is a concise story that is intact. But yeah, they're not trying to do any more like official stuff. I'm sure they can come back and do like mini stories, kind of like how I know Toy Story has all of those small short short films, short features, and they like release those. It's funny because sometimes like I don't really watch those as regularly, but sometimes I feel like something in a feature is actually a part of the main canon, the main story, but in reality it's not. And I was like, interesting. But anyway, that being said, I do find that them having the ability to like really do whatever they want with the property is pretty cool. And of course, one of those things being putting it in Fortnite. But yeah, I watched it. I don't know if by the time this goes live, I want to find out because I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, by the time this goes live, it might have already released on YouTube, which I think is a really great thing because you think about the, I guess, audacity of something being released in theaters when in reality you could just kind of wait and watch it in at home. And honestly, I think there are a lot of important things about what Digital Circus decided to do. Well, one, of course, being able to even release it in theaters, that's like a really big accomplishment. But you're paying for you're paying for community, you're paying for exclusivity. And yeah, it is like a step above what maybe you can get just by watching it on your couch at home. Granted, of course, people can on their own have, watch parties and things, watch parties that allow them to, dress up or do whatever they want to do with their friends in the comfort of their own home. But I don't know. I just think that there's something cool about, like, especially with Digital Circus, seeing what your local Digital Circus community is like, which, that could be kind of interesting depending on who you ask. I would say that for us, it was very interesting. It was like a wide variety of people. People, of course, dressed up in like their own. Some of them were like full on cosplay. Some of them were just like dressing as their character in real life. I will say, I did see a guy have a little figure, like kind of like a figure, like a legit figure. And he had one of Kane, and he had it with him, along with his Kane plush, which I was like, interesting. But he's got his buddies. He's got his buddies here. I just wouldn't, if I like coveted my figure that much, I just don't know if I would like bring it with me. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, he got both of his Kane figures and buddies right next to him watching the movie. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we watched Backrooms, which Backrooms was also a lot of fun. That's the thing. It's just, I think the part about these movies, just kind of to sidetrack real quick, is that I really enjoy how people are watching these movies in person and then they're taking the conversation further online, which, allows people to discuss a whole variety of like opinions and theories and things like that, while at the same time, because these properties don't have a decades long lore behind them, you don't have people who are coming in and being the like authority on something. For example, anything that's like Star Wars related. I love Star Wars. I'm a big fan of it, and I was basically raised watching Star Wars. But at the same time, you've got so much information, so much like the basically wiki of the entire Star Wars canon and lore. And so because of that, people can often come in and actually to the umpteenth to where, it makes it where there's like almost a barrier of entry trying to, enjoy this content. Granted, there's been, hundreds, maybe, but there's been so many like Marvel movies, for example, and coupled with that, you have the entire iceberg that is the, comics. So, of course, it's going to be a little tricky for people to try and, double dutch their way into the lore. So, I really enjoyed that aspect of being able to, everybody's like kind of on the even playing field when it comes down to this. Obviously, Backrooms is not owned by any specific person. obviously just happens to be one guy was greenlit to be able to participate and make this A24 movie. Of course, he is kind of creating his own lore, but of course you have other iterations of it. I mean, it's basically SCP, which, SCP, nobody owns it. It's just this thing that allows for everybody to contribute ideas and collaborate, which is really cool. Granted, those people, I do not think those are the people who watch my channel, so let's just put that out there. But those people who expected the backrooms to basically be whatever level something of Roblox, it's just like, I don't even think you're old enough to watch this movie if that's what you're comparing it to. But that's just me. Well, it's just me, and it's also a lot of people on the internet who are just like, I don't think that was the expectation. But I thought that was cool. I mean, because also, granted, Backrooms isn't really an adaptation of a video game. It's more of an adaptation of a concept, like an internet lore. And the internet lore was then turned into a video game, or, on video game appearances. And after that, yeah. So I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of cool theories to it. Oh my gosh, though, I was and this is like, I'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, because I feel like a lot of people have watched it by now, but also, maybe you are not, or you're just waiting it to come out on streaming. But there were parts that gave me, I was having almost a little panic attack. There are parts, because of course, if you don't know or not familiar with the Backrooms, of course there's a plethora of videos online that discuss it much better than me, perhaps. But basically, the Backrooms is a depiction of the kind of liminal space concept, this kind of dream core element of our lived nostalgia, where, there are places that, because of the time period, all of these places are often built the same way, look the same. Everybody has experienced the pool rooms or the water parks, or, the kind of fluorescent lighting in a department store when you're out shopping with your mom. These are things that, because we've all lived these experiences, that it kind of, all of our psyche have converged into one. And so it basically is all put together into this now dreamt up and manifested place called the Backrooms. So that being said, there are a lot of people who have made different Backrooms content. I've, of course, been on, I think if you go on, r/liminal spaces, that's a really cool area to go to, because a lot of these places are real. Of course, unfortunately, in, the age of AI, some of these places can be, created or manufactured, but most of the time, if they are manufactured, they're actually creating it with tools like Blender or things like that. So yeah, those are some of the fun things about it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then the last one we saw just this week, actually, was Obsession. Yeah, I really, really, really liked that movie. It was weird because while a movie can be seen as predictable, I really feel like this movie was predictable, but of course it had its own, uniqueness to it, where it was very unsettling. And even though there were certain events in the movie that I knew this was going to happen, I knew this, at the same time it still never took away from, actually experiencing it and just seeing a movie feeling so unsettling. And of course, I think the movie has a really big elephant in the room, that being, when someone acts upon themselves in a selfish way, who really pays the price. And yeah, I think that's what most people on the internet took away from that movie. I think that there are certain apologists, and I don't take that seriously, because I think especially a majority of people who have watched the movie do understand what the movie was trying to say and what it was trying to convey. I think that if you're being an apologist for that movie, then you're almost, maybe that's sometime, maybe we need to take a look in the mirror. Maybe we need to, you know, dissect ourselves and understand if there's anything in our lives that we need to change. But I don't know. I just think that right now there is this very interesting wave of, like, I don't want to call it like anti-romance movies, but they're movies that center around romance and love and portray some of the more nuanced and icky parts about it, which I really love because they almost go against the grain of what they're like subverting the like romance genre that's been fed to us in a lot of movies growing up. Seeing some of these like romance movies, rom-coms, like okay, real quick, there's these two movies, and I think one of them stars, okay, I think it was, My Best Friend's Wedding. Okay, it was My Best Friend's Wedding, and then there's another movie that I think it stars, oh my god, I'm blanking. I do know people. I know Ball, okay? I know Ball. I'm just blanking on it because there's so much I'm like trying to concentrate on. But that being said, My Best Friend's Wedding, for example. The whole premise of the movie is that she is in love with her best friend and goes through very crazy and sociopathic hoops to, like, basically at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for a movie that's like, I don't know, maybe 40 years old, ending up with her best friend, even though she's in love with him, but she wouldn't face facts, and so now he is with her versus the person who had like pretty much the wool over their eyes the entire time. And like, honestly, if you really picture that is a horror movie. That is a horror movie. Anyway, that being said, I feel like, for example, with like Obsession, and then the drama that came out earlier this year with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, I feel like those are movies that are basically showing the icky nature that comes, the complicated feelings that comes with, dabbling in love and romance and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's true that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and I think that these movies kind of experiment with how far you can go to depict some of these things that are kind of like unfortunate horrors of, the dating world and things like that. Those are just my yaps on some of the things that I've been up to. Definitely watching a lot of movies. I've also been reading a lot of books, which has been really fun. I'm looking currently at the entire top shelf of books and manga that I need to read. A lot of the manga, of course, are manga that I got while I was at MomoCon. So it's just one of those things where it's like, when you just have so many creative interests and such, it's very hard to dabble and have the free time to do all of them. So yeah. But either way, I wanted to kind of keep this video short and sweet and just take some time to yap with you guys while getting started on episode 6 of season 2 of my webcomic space Ultima. Of course, like I said, if you have any interest in sci-fi, action, superpowers, romance, see, it all connects, and then definitely consider checking that out. I have a Instagram. It's just at Artsume Shae. I have my website, which is artsumeshae.com. What else do I have? I've got, of course, on my website, I do also have a blog, and those blogs are something that I'm going to be kind of like infrequently working on. Just whenever I have some thoughts or some interests that I want to like put together, I'm gonna put that in the blog on my website. Of course, if you're here on my YouTube channel right now, Artsume Shae, that is something that you can subscribe to, so that way you get some more video yappy meals, and just like fun art journey, and all of the like on my channel here. So I'm going to really lock in. I'm gonna get more work done here, and so hopefully soon by the end of the month, episode 6 might just come out. Or it might come out in July. I'm really trying to work on it. It just takes a lot of time, which if you work on webcomics and webtoons, you certainly know. But yes, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!